SupaTea podcast show. How is everybody doing? I'm gonna sit down. I know you can't see me, so I am going to have a seat. Okay, so this is a different. This podcast is at a different location. I'm out of the studio because I literally just got. I'm gonna wait till my TikTok starts. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Super Tea Podcast Show. It is Soulful Sunday, people. So I did put out a notice that I was going live at 7 p.m. sharp today. And the reason why I went live at 7 p.m. sharp today is because I went to go see this amazing play. Now, my folks over in YouTube land, you are not going to see this, you're going to see this the opposite way. But I'm going to mirror it. Give me a second. You see me reaching. I'm reaching to my other device because I'm streaming on two devices, people. So I'm streaming on TikTok. Let's get this in the TikTok camera. TikTok, I went to see this today. This was good. This was not only good, this was like universe speaking to me loud and clear. Loud and clear, loud and clear. I apologize. I don't think I can mirror my video. I can't mirror my video on YouTube. So, but this is what I went to go see, people. Oh my goodness. It was amazing. I wish I was in my studio. So I'm not in my studio because my phone is currently charging because I was outside all of the day. And even though I brought my charger with me and I did, but let's talk about this play. This play is very, very good. You got to go see it. It is still playing in Montclair until the 26th of October. I apologize, YouTube people, that you're looking at this backwards. But the name of it is TOPDOG, and I will share the link in YouTube. Once I post Soulful Sundays, if you see the episode before the 26th, you can go and see this play. So I just literally just came in the house 10 minutes ago from the play, but we are going to dive into our book because it is Soulful Sunday. And I had to make some time adjustments and it was a good day though. I do want to talk a bit about my day because I did a live on YouTube, a very emotional live on YouTube. And excuse me, I just came in and my packages are just up there. You know, you got packages and you just want to open them. You just want to open them, even though you know what's inside. You just still want to open them and look at what's inside. So we're gonna do that. This is some cleaning supplies. It was a day, people. It was a day where I started the day. It felt like preaching. Ooh, I like these. I felt like I started the day preaching. I felt like I started the day preaching today. Ooh, I like these a lot. So these are for my new Swiffer. I bought a new Swiffer power mop, and I decided to get these because these are washable. So, you know, cost effectiveness, and I just feel like these clean better. You know? I probably use more solution with those, but I ain't worried about the solution part. I'm worried about the clean part. And I got some dish pods. But yeah, I felt like I was preaching. I felt like I was preaching all morning. These are flat. Okay. I guess they're all spread out. I want to look at these. This is my first time trying these, by the way, people. But yeah, I felt like I was preaching all morning. Oh, okay. Well, they look interesting. I'm gonna see how they work with my dishes. I'm actually gonna take this one and dump it inside of my little bucket. I have a little bucket. And if they work good, they smell delicious. Then finished will be my new Finish will be my new dishwasher uh, detergent. So, hey, Mary Mancy. So we're starting late today because I just came from this play, and this play was phenomenal. And I'm gonna get into the book. We're gonna get into the book, but the way today started, and again, I don't know if the people over in TikTok land follow me in YouTube world. I'm gonna be looking at the different cameras and stuff like that. But I just had to. It just felt good for me to emote, and so I emoted today, and it was heavy emoting. It was emoting that I don't think I've ever done on TV before, but I just feel so phenomenal. I really, really do. Like in light of all of that hurtful um, moment that I experienced today, I felt phenomenal. Because you know what? It hurt it, but it did not feel like how I felt last weekend. Last weekend I had to come to a realization that I really like, really have some deep feelings, but I was able to adjust myself and like just come from a healed space. So what I want to say is that being healed and being accountable and being mindful and being positive, like that does not prevent you from feeling hurt, or feeling grief. I had a friend of mine passed away not too long ago. I felt grief. I cried then. I cried last weekend. I cried earlier today. But the end of the day was so peaceful and so profound, and like it was deep. It was deep. So the lesson that I learned was that you have to you have to prioritize yourself. Like all of the stuff that I was preaching today to a loved one, I realized is applicable to me. And once that click went, like I already knew it was applicable to me, but I had to it had to really lock in. And once it locked in, it was like I got confirmation. I got confirmation. I got confirmation. And I got confirmation here. Here. I got confirmation here. Here. Because one of the characters, it was almost like, even though the character looks nothing like my son, but it was almost like looking at my son. It was like looking at my son, which is the loved one that I mentioned. And the loved one that I experienced some turmoil with today. And once I realized, oh, hold up. Let's see what's going on over here. I'm not even on the Wi-Fi. Excuse me. Had to adjust TikTok land. Once I realized, yeah, stay away. They have to heal. They have to heal, and I have said it to them over and 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 over again. However, I can only heal for me. I cannot heal for them, and I have to be sure that they are healed before I let them into my intimate space. Now, outside, public, even that's a little iffy, depending on their state of mind, but I cannot allow them into my intimate space because, and when I say intimate space, I mean where I rest my head at, where I come and I just relax, where I do my homework at, I can't, because they're not healthy enough to really, they just have to heal. They just have to heal. They just have to heal. And I'm encouraging the healing. I wish they would have taken my advice. I gave it as lovingly as possible. They still was just like, and not in words, but in full action to me. And I was just like, oh my God, you still not getting it? Why won't you get it? And then I've had to realize I can't make them get it. So they had a situation that they could have avoided. Nothing new. They've had plenty of situations that they could have avoided, but they decide that they didn't want to avoid it, so they didn't avoid it. And yes, it hurt me in the interim, but I realized that, hey, it just comes with the territory. You know, when you as a parent, no loving parent wants to see their child hurt. But if their child is an adult and they are making choices that are hurting themselves, the parent cannot do anything to stop them from making those choices. The parent can try, they could give them advice, they could steer them in the right direction, but ultimately a person has to make the decision themselves to go in the right direction. And I have been very adamant about this relative of mine's finding mentorship. I've been very adamant about them going into therapy, and they have been sucking this young lady dry. And so they're in a toxic thing. They're drinking and they're smoking, and they thinking that's the way to go. And I'm just like, I warrant you both. So if you both want to continue down this path, I love you. I am going this way. So let's talk about this way. Let's talk about this way. Because I don't even know what this way is. But I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. I can't. Because there's not, first of all, I don't even know anything to go into any depth. But this way is me choosing me loving me working on me doing everything that I am encouraging my loved one that's over there to do, and being consistent with it. I do physical therapy now. It's not easy. It doesn't feel great. I don't know how long it's going to take to even be effective with my legs, because there's so many different dynamics. It is muscles that are waking up that's been asleep for God knows what. Then muscles that need to build, and I need proper nutrients to do that. And yes, I got creatine, but I have protein. Protein's a little moolah. So yeah, and supplementing with what I have. Hey, welcome to Soulful Sunday. I just came from seeing this amazing play, and I'm just talking about my day. YouTube land, again, I'm talking on two screens, so if you see me looking up into yonder, I'm looking into TikTok. And TikTok, if you see me looking down, I'm talking into YouTube. But yeah, I had such a experience that made me say, I'm proud of you. Like, I'm really proud of you. And I don't know what the heck. I have no clue. But I do. Let's talk about this. This I can discuss. So I have met sisters throughout my journey of growing and becoming a woman, right? And these sisters are a part of a sisterhood, and I didn't know this. I know Miss Huger is one of them. Tracy Huger. Tracy Huger was my 5th grade teacher, and Tracy Huger was phenomenal. Tracy Huger is one of these sisters. And then I met another sister. I can't remember her name, but I remember her, and because she was at my freshman seminar at ASA College. And Black sister, powerful sister. Then I remember, there's one right across the street from me. She's a judge. She's right across the street from me, from my school. And I'm just like, if my funds were correct for me to pursue my cafe case, it would have been just open shut. Like, it wouldn't have been a hassle like these European guys gave me. Like, I don't even know how she got there, because it was a European guy for the first two petitions. The petition first I put in for myself was a European guy, and even though I had everything together, he was just like, "Oh, you can't represent your own business by the state of New Jersey laws. You can't represent your own business. You must hire an attorney. That's the laws of the state of New Jersey." And I was like, "Sir, why we even go to trial then? Like, why didn't you dismiss this right then and there?" I think they just wanted to see how articulate I was and just how I was gonna handle their BS. And I handled their BS by hiring a fucking attorney when I was able to, which was probably like a year or so later after that first go. And the attorneys was ass. Excuse my French, but they were. They weren't good attorneys. I didn't vet them well enough. I went online and saw some brothers and figured, huh, I'm gonna choose these people. Their reviews is good until their reviews were not good. So again, they got the case in, but they didn't do anything with the case. They didn't even show up for trial. They got like they removed themselves off the case after they took what $3,500 from me. It was a hot freaking mess. They was trying to get $5,000 from me. It was like, the business is not operating. Where do you think I'm pulling this cash from? Like, where think I'm pulling it from? That's why we're in court. Get it on the other side. But yeah, no. But right before they did their little 1-2, there was that the European guys were gone, and it was a sister, and she brought me in the back. She brought me to her chambers, and I was able to see who she is, and she is one of the sisters that is the same as she's part of a sisterhood, and I'm like, this is the sisterhood for me, like, because they've always been there. They've just always been there. They just pop up randomly. When I tell you randomly, but I know nothing is random. So that's how I know that's the space for me. And I've been invited to many places, okay? I recently, I'm gonna say this word, okay? Because it wasn't even an invitation. This felt like a straight summons, okay? And not the summons like summons to court. No, like seance summons, like Wiccas that was like, we need to channel this powerful energy. We have become to aware that this energy has taken human form. We want to be friends with her. We're gonna embrace her. And I am probably gonna be friends with them, but I'm not gonna enter their circle. I watched a little bit to learn about them. These are some Italian women, and I was just like, okay, well, maybe we could be cool, but I don't know. I don't really have a big trust for, I see you want to do the right thing. If you want to do the right thing, cool. I'm with doing the right thing. But I don't know if I want to be a part of your clique. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm still trying to, trust got to be earned, period. So, we'll see, But they're doing good. They're doing good. Like, they have opened up, and I am going to trust them with my healthcare. Just because I could tell by how they're structured that they're doing good, because they made things accessible to people. They made primary care accessible, good quality primary care accessible to people, where you could pay like $175 a month and actually like get good primary care, not primary care where you go and they don't even have a phlebotomist inside of the freaking Like, I'm still feeling away about primary care physician in low income neighborhood in a new doctor's office not having a phlebotomist. How are you a primary care physician in a new office without a phlebotomist? I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. In my 42 years upon this planet, I've never had that experience, and I've been going to hood doctors predominantly up until my 30s. I accidentally stumbled on Madison Avenue trying to get a physical, not even trying, looking to get a physical for my security job position. And they just so happened to take my insurance. And it was a whole new experience. It was like, every year we're going to give you an EKG. You're supposed to get that normally. Are you normally getting that? And I was like, I'm not normally getting it, but thank you. Now I know. And they still don't tell you. And the hood doctors, I had to request it. And she's like, oh yeah, it is normal. But if I didn't say nothing, you wasn't even gonna order it. You just want to look at my blood pressure. No, let's see if everything's functioning right, okay? Because I'm convinced at this point, everybody got high blood pressure. Maybe different people's blood pressure changes at different times. Just maybe that's a possibility. Maybe we need to start, practicing medicine not just based on one type of demographic or nationality. Just maybe, just possibly, possibly. Just a suggestion. Anywho, I don't want to keep ranting and ranting because it is Soulful Sunday. This is not a vlog. So I'm going to go straight in. Plus, I have homework to do, people. So let's get to Soulful Sunday. We are in chapter 14, Illusion. Diving straight in. Of course, this chapter is going to be about my whole experience today, where the universe is going to be like, or how y'all say now? Come on, girl. Come on, girl. All right. It's the way the chapter is even starting. Like, wait a minute. Are all the chapters start like that? They don't. They really don't. They don't. None of the chapters start like that. So, okay, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Okay. So, just regular. This is how regular the chapter starts. This is the right side of the page. That's chapter 13. Chapter 12 starts right side of the page. Chapter 11, right side of the book. Chapter, all the way. Chapter 9. Okay, I skipped 10, but just got to take my word for it. Guess where chapter 14 starts, though? Left side. Interesting. Of course, I'm the one who noticed these little things, right? I notice every little freaking thing. Let's get into it, though. Each interaction with each individual is part of a continual learning dynamic. When you interact with another, an illusion is part of this dynamic. This illusion allows each soul to perceive what it needs to understand in order to heal. It creates, like a living picture show, the situations that are necessary to bring into wholeness the aspects of each soul that require healing. The illusion is a learning vehicle. It is of the personality. You will leave the illusion behind when you die, when you return home. Yet a personality that lives in love and light, that sees through the eyes of his soul, metaphorically speaking, can see the illusion and simultaneously not be drawn into it. This is an authentically empowered personality. Thank you, Doodoo. The illusion is exquisitely intimate to the needs of each soul. Always each situation serves each person involved. You cannot and will not encounter a circumstance or a single moment that does not serve directly and immediately the need of your soul to heal, to come into wholeness. The illusion for each soul is created by its intentions. Therefore, the illusion is alive at each moment with the most appropriate experiences that you can have in order for your soul to heal. The illusion is malleable. This does not mean that what is created jointly within the illusion does not have an independence of the individual souls that participated in its creation. It means that there is no perception that cannot be healed, just as there is no intention that cannot be changed or replaced with another. Understanding how the illusion comes into being, how it works, the dynamics behind it, and the role that it plays in the evolution of the soul at the heart of spirit is at this. Well, let's start that sentence again. Understanding how the illusion comes into being, how it works, the dynamics behind it, and the role that it plays in the evolution of the soul is at the heart of spiritual psychology. Spiritual psychology allows the personality to detach itself from the illusion and therefore to see it from a knowledgeable perspective, to see it in action, just as, for example, an intelligence with a knowledge of modern medicine will be able to live among the populations of Europe during the time of the bubonic plague and not be affected by it. A personality with knowledge of the illusion and how it works is able to live within it and not be affected by it. Bubonic plague is transmitted by fleas on rodents. This is known now, but it was not known then. By keeping his or her environment clean, by avoiding all that attracts rodents, and by practicing personal hygiene, such a person can not only survive, but keep others safe as well. When we experience fear or anger or jealousy, we are in an illusion that is designed to bring to awareness those parts of the soul that require healing. And let me pause right there because, baby, once you heal, though, oh my God, like you just see things different and you have different experiences. And I am a complete witness to it because, again, I had a moment last week that was really deep. That deep, I was like, deep. Like I boo-hooed a bit today, but that other boo-hooing was no comparison to the boo-hoo I did today. That other boo-hooing was deep. It was deep to the soul, and I had to ask myself, why? Why? And I had to like just speak nicely and soothe myself, and remind myself, and then afterwards it was just like, oh, okay, you got good taste. Like, it's okay. You got good taste. Girl, it's okay. Love on you first and foremost, but it's okay for you to love another. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And I was like, okay. And then today, let me get back. These things do not actually exist. This is why pursuing them does not bring power. What exists between souls is love. And love, I learned to respect the power of love. Love, people, love. Love is powerful as I don't know what. Love will have you just in awe at the motion of it, especially when you are loving yourself enough to not open yourself to an unhealed person completely. You can love an unhealed person, but you don't open yourself. You don't make yourself vulnerable to an unhealed person, but when you just see it in motion and experience it in motion, it's like, look at the person in here, love. That's the name of the person up in here. Woo! The synchronicities be too much sometimes for a sister. Let me get back in this book. The power of awareness is knowledge is identical in both situations. The illusion holds power over you when you are not able to remember that you are a powerful spirit that has taken on the physical experience for the purpose of learning. It has power over you when you are compelled by the wants and impulses that values of your personality. It holds power over you when you fear and hate and sorrow and fester in anger or strike out in rage. It has no power over you when you love, when compassion opens your heart to others, when your creativity flows unimpeded joyously into the present moment. In other words, the illusion has no power over a personality that is fully aligned with its soul. The illusion is governed by impersonal energy dynamics. It is shaped initially by the law of karma. The configuration of each personality, the unconscious intentions with which it is born, is determined by the karma of its soul. These intentions shape that personality's illusion, its reality within the earth school, until they are replaced by other intentions, unconscious or conscious. If the reaction of the personality create additional karma for the soul, and if that karma cannot be balanced within the lifetime of the personality, that karma contributes to the shaping of another personality. And the intentions of that personality creates its illusions, its reality within the earth school, and so on. So basically what it's saying is a lot of stuff that we take as being concrete is not concrete. It's all fluid, and it all is subject to change based on our perceptions. And our perceptions is based on the alignment that our personalities have with our soul, because our soul already knows. But our personalities, if it's not in alignment with our soul, then we ain't gonna be aware that that shit ain't real. And the perfect example to bring it in a not in a comical sense, but in a humorous way is Rick and Morty. you ever watch that show, you get what I'm saying. 'Cause they say the same thing all the time. Oh, this isn't real. Because there's so many different possibilities, and the different dimensions are the different possibilities. So nobody is locked into whatever their current situation is. You never are. You may perceive that you are, and that perception may be that way because you may be out of alignment with your soul. But when you are in alignment with your soul, you can see clearly and you can change your perception. And I'm not saying you have to be in alignment to change your perception, because you can change your perception at will. It's your mind. You can change your mind at will. You can be like, okay, no. Like I can look at this and for example, just to try to simplify this as much, I can look at this and be like, no, this is not garbage. This is something that I can use to catch grease with when I fry chicken, instead of, oh, this is just wrapping, let me just toss it. I can change my mind and see it to something productive. Everybody has that ability. I've just used that as an example. Let's get back into the book. Okay, where we at? The illusion is governed by impersonal energy dynamics. It is shaped initially by the law of karma. The configuration of each personality, the unconscious intentions with which it is born, is determined by the karma of its soul. These intentions shape that personality's illusion, its reality within the earth school, until they are replaced by other intentions, unconscious or conscious. If the reactions of the personality create additional karma for the soul, and if that karma cannot be balanced within the lifetime of the personality, then that karma contributes to the shaping of another personality, and the intentions of that personality creates its illusion, its reality within the earth school, and so on. So, again, this book is describing the soul and how the soul is basically timeless. So the soul is not limited to this one lifetime. The soul keeps on until it has reached a complete wholeness, or sometimes I feel a soul that has reached full wholeness will incarnate back on the earth to be of service to humanity. I think that's a possibility. But basically, the premise of this book is describing the fact that you can create karma for your soul, and that the law of karma is what governs the experiences of your personality, and that your soul creates when it incarnates here. And if it doesn't get through all the karma and heal in one particular lifetime, you're going to come back and work on your soul shit again. Even after a personality becomes conscious and aware of its illusion and sets its intentions accordingly, the karmic obligations of its soul must still be met. Karma is karma, energy is energy. The awakened personality understands this and therefore does not respond to the experiences and the events of its life with anger, fear, sorrow, or jealousy, which would create additional negative karma for its soul, but with compassion, with trust that the universe in each moment is attending to the needs of its soul. This draws to it other souls with the same frequency of consciousness. Each personality draws to itself personalities with consciousness of like frequency or like weakness. The frequency of anger attracts the frequency of anger. The frequency of greed attracts greed, and so on. This is the law of attraction. Negativity attracts negativity, just as love attracts love. Therefore, the world of an angry person is filled with angry people. The world of a greedy person is filled with greedy people. And a loving person lives in a world of loving people. Yes, I live in a world of loving people. The law of attraction creates a cocoon, so to speak, of like energy around each personality, so that as it seeks to heal its anger or its fear or its jealousy, the metamorphosis process into wholeness is intensified and accelerated. It's brought to the center of the stage of awareness. The personality sees its anger or its fear not only within itself, but everywhere outside of itself as well. If the personality chooses consciously to heal its own anger or its own fear, every circumstance, every encounter becomes irritating or fearful as the universe compassionately responds to its desire to become whole. As the anger or the fear within a personality builds, the world in which it lives increasingly reflects the anger or the fear that it must heal. Perfect example, orange guy. Orange guy needs to heal. Orange guy needs to heal, people. He really needs to heal. So that eventually, ultimately, the personality will see that it's creating its own experiences and perceptions. That its righteous anger or justifiable fear originates within itself, and therefore can be replaced by other perceptions and experiences only through the force of its own being. Just as the frequency of anger invokes or evokes a like frequency in the consciousness of those around an angry personality, the frequency of love awakens also like responses. I learned to respect. I gotta say it again. The power of love. I learned to respect. Woo! The power. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. It was such a brief moment, but such a phenomenal moment. And it was just like love was just in full action. And I was experiencing it because I was emitting it. And because I was emitting it, I was surrounded by folks who also was emitting it. And it was a good, it was good, it was a good interaction. It was good. It was good from start to finish. One of the best decisions I've made in a while. I make good decisions most of the time, but this decision to go and see this play was phenomenal because the first people that I was greeted with was this sisterhood, and it was just like instantaneously. It was just like I was like, wait a minute, are y'all such and such? And when I tell you they randomly, they can't randomly be popping into my life, like, but it was a bunch of them. From the eldest, they had an elder there who I want to say this lady maybe possibly late 80s, looked good, dressed good, moved good, hips working a little better than mine, okay? Because mama could sit down lower than me. I was like, you want to sit in this high seat? Because it was a high seat, and the high seats are more comfortable because of my hips. But she was like, oh, I could get up, baby. And I was like, okay, you sure? And it was nice. It was such a thing. There was so many of them. I lost count of how many of them it was. It was a group of them, though. They was in a whole pack. And, I was just like, I'm coming. Like, as soon as I get this damn BA, I'm coming. Make space. I'm here. And I feel like I'm already there. And, yeah. I'm going to continue, though. Just as the frequency of anger invokes a like frequency in the consciousness of those around an angry personality, the frequency of love awakens also like responses. It is the intention that determines the effect. If what you offer to others is not sensitive, if it is not support and nourish, if it does not empower but disempowers them, it will be met with resistance at some level. And that resistance will be the counterpart of your energy that seeks to disempower or to control. Separation and distance are always the result of the pursuit of external power. Within this impersonal framework operate the dynamic of temptation and responsible choice. Ooh, there's a whole diaphragm here, people. I don't know how I'm gonna get this on here, but it's basically just showing you how things are connected. The human emotional system can be broken down into roughly two elements: fear and love. Love is of the soul, fear is of the personality. The illusion of each personality is generated by and sustained by the emotions that follow fear. such as anger, rage, vengefulness, hatred, jealousy, or envy, loneliness, spite, sorrow, despair, grief, regret, greed, lust, arrogance, alienation, self pity, lethargy, guilt, resentment, and feelings of inferiority and superiority. Emotions such as these lead to corresponding behaviors such as selfishness towards people and animals, and the earth and the kingdoms of the earth, and using others in the many ways that humans use each one another commercially, sexually, emotionally, and lying, manipulation, violence, brutality, impatience, ridicule, and judgment. When the personality is unconscious, every emotion of fear or that follows fear produces a negative behavior, a behavior that creates negative karma for its soul. Each of the emotions that follow fear can cause any of the behaviors that are based upon fear. Jealousy, for example, can result in lying or in ridicule, which are forms of manipulation, or in violence. Greed can result in impatience, which is a form of selfishness or judging or using others. If you are unconscious of the part of yourself that is angry, for example, if you are unaware of yourself as a splintered personality, you will enact the anger of that part of yourself without thinking. You will strike out or withdraw or ridicule or in some way express your anger. Your anger will spill out of your private energy sphere into the collective energy of those around you, creating negative karma. Woo! That was happening earlier. My loved one's anger was spilling out to me. Shoot. As you encounter the results of your own anger as they come back to you through the laws of karma and attraction, you or another of your soul's personalities eventually will learn to create differently, and so on for each of the negative emotions that follows fear. Behind fear is powerlessness. As you reach outward to fill the places within you that are empty of power, you learn one by one that those places cannot be filled in that way. Eventually, whether in this lifetime or after 1,000 lifetimes, you will turn towards authentic power. This is the unconscious way of learning. It is learning through the experiences that are created by the unconscious part of the personality and through the experiences that are created by unconscious responses to those experiences. If a personality is aware of its splintered state, if it is aware not only of the aspect of itself that is angry and demands vengeance, for example, but also the aspect of itself that is compassionate and understanding, it benefits from the dynamic of temptation. It is able to preview the consequences of identifying with the frequency of energy that is anger that is running through its system, to look them over in advance of living them, and to decide whether they are worth expressing the anger that it feels. It is able to foresee through its decision, to foresee how expressing the current of anger in that moment will affect itself and the people around it, and also the effects of expressing understanding and compassion. The unconscious personality is not aware in the moment of its anger or rage that there are aspects of itself that would prefer to respond with compassion and understanding, but it would recognize them if it could see clearly in that moment. What if the part of itself that suffer the loneliness and alienation that result from expressing anger, the parts that long for warmth and companionship, for relationships of a depth and quality that are not possible to those who live in anger or fear or jealousy? If the personality that is tempted decides to align itself with love, with clarity, understanding, and compassion, it gains power, baby! True power! The impulse, forgive my silliness. I just feel so freaking grateful. Um, the impulse towards anger or resentment or vengeance loses power over it. And in this way, step by step, conscious decision by conscious decision, it becomes truly powerful. If it decides to remain unconscious to avoid responsibility for its actions, it allows negative currents of energy to form its words and shape its actions. This results in negative behavior, and this results in negative karma. What does this mean in terms of the illusion? Negative behavior produces within others and within oneself negative emotions, and therefore more opportunities to gain power through responsible choice, or to create negative karma. Negative karma means that the personality that chooses negative behavior will experience the same negative behavior from another personality, and again, be given the opportunity to decide to release it or continue that mode of learning. No, 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 I release. That's the illusion. It's an illusion because you and the other souls that are involved have agreed, in compassion and wisdom, to participate in the learning dynamics of the Earth School in order to heal. It is illusion because within non physical reality, neither space, nor time, nor anger, nor jealousy, nor fear exists. It is an illusion because when you return home, it will cease to be. Therefore, how are you to judge a soul that is involved in its learning process? Yeah, you don't. If it doesn't flow with you, you just keep it away from you. What steps do you abstract and say this is wrong, that is worthy? Here she has succeeded, and here he has not. You cannot judge the learnings of a soul on the basis of how that learning takes place without creating negative karma. In other words, a soul is capable of being examined and processed, just as you can ask yourself, where does my anger come from? And realize that it springs from a multitude of dynamics, some of which were set into motion centuries ago or longer, and that are only now coming to completion. That it is a current of energy within you that you are seeking to release in order to heal your soul and balance your karmic energy. You cannot try another as if you were a judge in a court for a single angry experience. Rather, you have to see clearly that there is a process unfolding and add that to the factor of karma. You can only judge that the soul is involved by its own will in a process of healing and that it is evolving, as are you, as is the rest of the universe. This is non judgmental justice. It is justice that does not judge the process of the soul's evolution, except that it recognizes with love. The soul is reaching for love. It's not the way of the universe to look through the eyes of the right and wrong and failure or success. How do you know what success is? Can you see in fullness the causes and effects of your being and of your acts and of your words? Therefore, how do you know what success is? And how can you possibly imagine what failure is? What is failure but a cause and effect? When we call what we call failure is simply a cause and its effect, simply the process of cause and effect in action. It is wise to imagine the dynamics that we think of as failure and as success as not truly existing because they do not. Not from the position of truth, only from the position of judgment. How can you say what within the illusion is worthy and what is not? Unworthiness is the judgment of not being perfected. But look around you. Do you see perfection completed by each human being, except they are in their own process, perfect and worthy? It is the process that is worthy and perfect at all times, and in that you complete the task fully. How is it possible to know what to pursue within the illusion and what not to pursue? Ask yourself, what is the difference between your essential needs and your adopted needs? Or perhaps another term might be artificial needs. What are your genuine needs? What are the needs that you have created for other reasons to control or to maneuver others or to gain attention? Distinguish these in your mind. Know yourself deeply and clearly enough to recognize what is a legitimate need of you as a human being and of you as the part of yourself that has created needs for certain other reasons, such as to gain external notice or prestige or to become a distinguishable individual. Learn to identify these and then choose which you wish to live with. For example, is your irritation at the neighbor's noise a result of a genuine need that's going unmet or a created need? Does your annoyance with the sound that the garbage truck make or your desire to have the clerk at the grocery store treat you politely reflect an essential need or an artificial one? Learn to distinguish your real needs, what you truly need as a human being in a soul, from the needs that you have adopted for reasons that are based on external power and do not emerge from the needs of your soul. Once you get a clear sense of what you can begin, once you get a clear sense of that, you can begin to separate yourself from your artificial self. And then you are in a position to choose clearly how you wish to respond and to hold yourself accountable when you allow your artificial needs to take over. Authentic needs belong to the soul. You need, for example, to love and be loved. You need to express your creativity, whether that is raising a family or leading a country. You need to cultivate your spirit, to work consciously at aligning your personality with your soul. You need to be counseled with the impersonal wisdom of your non physical teachers and the guidance of your non physical guide. These are some of your authentic needs. Not authentic needs belongs to the personality. They are what you adopt in your physical life in order to maneuver the space you claim to walk in upon the earth. Artificial needs are the needs from which negative karma is incurred. As you reach to fulfill these needs without letting them go and bending and flowing, as you determine to have them satisfied or to use them, you can gain great negative karma. A non authentic need is a barrier. Neither nations nor individuals need as much as they have. They are artificial barriers, and the purpose behind their formation is the accumulation of external power. The secondary gain, so to speak, behind the creation of artificial need is artificial power. Look clearly and you will see it everywhere. In marriages and international relations, in every conflict, it is not possible for you to experience the complete emergence of your soul when you are clouded over by artificial needs. When that happens, all you can see are artificial needs. And you see them as being ever so important, ever so significant, but are they really? As you look at your not as authentic needs, can you see how they drain energy from you? So long as your priorities come from your lesser self, you can't touch your higher self in a direct way. Authentic needs are the needs that are always met by the universe. The universe is that which supplies you with your authentic needs. You are always being given opportunities to love and to be loved, for example. Yet ask yourself, how many times in your life have you squandered these opportunities? By learning to respond to your authentic needs and by allowing your artificial ones to drop aside as unnecessary defense mechanisms, you become more open and understanding and compassionate with others. There is a natural give and take in the course of every human life. Every human being has authentic and non-authentic needs, and that is where the natural grit for the flow between us comes from in the living environment. You begin to learn to give and take as you begin to work through an understanding of what your real needs are, and learn to compromise and give and transcend when it comes to the needs of those parts of yourself that are not genuine or do not enhance your development. If you see clearly through your own authentic needs, you will see that what you are really feeling threatened by when you experience an artificial need is the loss of your power. And therefore, rather than being able to address it directly, you create an artificial need that does the speaking for you. Learn to address the real need so that you do not have to burden yourself with behavioral patterns that are not true to your own nature, that cloud you, that give you some artificial persona that you have to live up to. Begin by truly watching your own needs in action, where they are real and where they are not. Where they are not, expect to experience a negative emotion. Work on becoming one step detached from that feeling so that you no longer blinded by it or unaware that you are feeling it. Become a step away so that you can let it begin to work its way through you without penetrating as deeply as it does in terms of creating action and negative thoughts and emotional withdrawals and all the other reactions it creates within you. Become one step detached from it, and every time that you are able to see it, you will become more and more and more detached. Doesn't mean you're not going to feel. You're still going to feel, okay? But you're not going to be attached to those feelings. You're going to be able to process those feelings, release those feelings, learn from those feelings, and 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 what's the word I'm looking for? Not engage. Um, Plug into your power, your authentic power, like your internal power, and that takes you to a whole nother level in life, in your daily interactions. You will begin to be able to see the illusion in motion, and that is a part of authentic power. And that is the end of the illusion chapter. And I guess the rest of these are just starting where they started. The next chapter is power. I don't know why the rest of that book. I guess the rest of these chapters are gonna start like that. Trust starts that way. Hold up, people. TikTok is asking me to put a puzzle piece into place. That's just the way the rest of the book is. It's interesting. After illusion, the rest of the chapters start that way. But any hoots, and when I say start that way, I mean starts on the left instead of on the right. Since you're still sticking around, Tina, this is what I went to go see. This is good. This is very, very good. It's very, very good. I'm gonna put the link inside of my yeah, it was nice. It was good. I'm gonna put the link inside of my YouTube so that people who want to see it, who are local, they can see it. It's gonna be playing until the 26th of this month. And yeah, that's Soulful Sundays for today, people. Just be aware that you have power within you. You have true, authentic power. And when you tap into that power, it will just truly, truly clear and make clear everything else around you. And you can't force others to tap into their own power, but I feel when you are tapped into your own, that you're gonna attract people who are also tapped into their authenticity, into their true selves. Thank you for tapping the screen. Thank you for hanging out with me this Soulful Sunday. I do gotta get to homework and I do gotta put something in my tummy. Because all I had was 3 little tacos and 2 little eggs. But I should be back at a regular time next Sunday, 3 p.m. sharp. Yes. And I appreciate everybody for coming in and stopping by. All is well, all is good. And have a good, great evening. And see y'all next Soulful Sunday. Ooh, girl made a little 33 cents. I put some food in my tummy. Mm-hmm. It was a good day. It was a good Sunday. It was a good start of a week. I don't know what other goodies the week has for me. Because I just knew. After my emoting today, and after my lesson today, after the preaching that I was preaching, I had to apply to me today. I just knew. I was like, something good gonna happen. It was brief but good. And a whole bunch of other good stuff happened too. But that brief was phenomenal. I finally felt like seen. Like truly seen. These smell so good. I want to just wash my dishes. I don't even have any dirty dishes right now. I got a few. But they smell good, like. What's up in here? What's up in here? I love good smelling stuff. I'm excited. I'm excited about life. I'm excited about the sisterhood. I love the way they popped out. It was just, I didn't even ask them to pop up, but they were just there. And they just, it was love. It was all love. And all I can do is laugh. Because, yeah, that's where I'm going. Thank you for the invitation. Samantha, no. Samantha's the name for the Italian ladies. Thank you, Real Houses of New Jersey, for inviting me. But I'm gonna be going over here with the sisters. I'm gonna be going over here. Anyway, let me take my silly behind off of here and get to making me something to eat. I don't think I got time to cook. I got homework due by 12 o'clock. Deuces.